The rain that night felt heavier than it should have, like the sky itself was grieving. A poor single father, exhausted and soaked to the bone, stood under the flickering porch light of his small rented house, staring at two identical girls shivering in the downpour. He had no idea that opening his door to those strange twin girls would change his life forever, or that by morning, 6 black SUVs would surround his driveway, bringing secrets powerful enough to shake his fragile world. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one good decision can change everything, please take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to this channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The man's name was Daniel Carter, a 36-year-old single dad barely holding life together after it had taken almost everything from him. His wife had died 3 years earlier from a sudden illness, leaving him alone with his 6-year-old son, Noah, and a mountain of debt. Daniel worked long shifts at a warehouse during the day and fixed old cars at night just to keep food on the table. Every dollar mattered, every decision carried weight, and trust was a luxury he could no longer afford. That was why seeing 2 teenage girls, identical in face and build, standing barefoot in the rain made his heart race with fear and confusion rather than curiosity. They looked about 16, their blonde hair soaked and clinging to their faces, their red dresses darkened by water. They didn't cry or beg. They just stood there, arms crossed, eyes heavy with something far older than their years. Daniel should have called the police. He knew that. But something in their expressions, quiet, controlled, and painfully alone, mirrored the emptiness he carried every day. Against logic and common sense, he let them inside, gave them towels, old hoodies, and the last of the soup he'd made for himself and his son. That night, Daniel barely slept. Every sound from the guest room made him tense. His house was small, the walls thin, and his life fragile. Still, nothing bad happened. The twins slept quietly, and before dawn, Daniel sat at the kitchen table with a cold cup of coffee, wondering what kind of father brings strangers into his home when he can barely protect his own child. Yet deep down, he felt he'd done the right thing, even if it scared him. Morning came with an unnatural silence, broken suddenly by the low rumble of engines. Daniel looked out the window and felt his chest tighten. 6 identical black SUVs rolled slowly into his driveway and along the street, blocking every exit. Men in dark suits stepped out, earpieces in place, scanning the area with practiced precision. This was no police welfare check. This was power. The kind Daniel had only seen on television. Panic surged through him. His first thought was Noah. His second was regret. Had he just invited danger into his child's life? He barely had time to think before a knock echoed through the house, slow and deliberate. The twins appeared behind him, calm and composed, not surprised at all. In that moment, Daniel realized these girls had never truly been lost. What followed shattered everything Daniel thought he knew about the world. The twins were the daughters of a billionaire tech magnate whose empire stretched across continents. Their father was a man whose name opened doors and silenced rooms. The girls had run away after uncovering dark truths within their own family, truths that made them targets. For weeks, they'd been hiding, moving at night, trusting no one. When the storm hit, Daniel's light had been the only one left on in the neighborhood. The men outside weren't there to harm Daniel. They were there to retrieve the girls and erase the night from existence. Money was offered quietly, enough to pay off his debts, fix his house, and secure Noah's future. Daniel listened, his hands shaking, his heart heavy. He thought of every overdue bill, every night he went to bed hungry so his son wouldn't. Yet when he looked at the twins, standing tall, silent, and watching him with something that looked like hope, he surprised even himself. Daniel didn't ask for money. He asked for one thing, that the girls be protected, not controlled. That their voices be heard. That whatever power surrounded them wouldn't crush who they were. The suited men exchanged glances. Promises were made. Contracts, NDAs, and quiet assurances followed. By noon, the SUVs were gone, and Daniel's driveway was empty again, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But something had changed. Weeks later, help arrived in ways Daniel never expected. His warehouse job turned into a management position through an anonymous recommendation. Noah was offered a scholarship to a private school. Repairs on Daniel's house were completed overnight by unnamed contractors. There were no thank you notes, no explanations, just quiet kindness returned tenfold. Daniel never saw the twins again. But sometimes, late at night, he would find a handwritten card in his mailbox with no return address. Simple words. Encouragement. Gratitude. Proof that his small act of humanity had mattered in a world ruled by power and fear. Life didn't become perfect. Daniel still worked hard. He still worried. But he carried himself differently now, knowing that even a poor single dad with nothing to spare could stand firm and choose compassion over comfort. He taught Noah that strength wasn't about money or influence, but about doing the right thing when it costs you something. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. Please comment below with the words, "Kindness still matters," if you believe that one good heart can change many lives. And if this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that hope can show up on the darkest nights, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to this channel. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who may be struggling silently, just like Daniel once was.